This is a clip from an earlier live stream. I know you're going to like it, so the link to the full video is down below. Check it out. I'll see you over there.
This is conservatism. Progressivism sets out to destroy. And if you are destroying something, destroying Western civilization, destroying the church, destroying the family, it does not matter how you do it. It doesn't matter what tool you hold or what material you use, as long as you are destroying whatever institution or edifice it is, that's fine. You don't really have to agree on much. But on the right, on the conservative side, we are trying to build something. And when you're building something, you have to agree on a lot. You have to agree on the materials used, the tools being used to build, and most importantly, you have to agree on a foundation. And if we cannot agree on a foundation, then it's going to be very hard to build something together. But the debates and working out what that edifice looks like, of what the future of America should be, there's going to be some discomfort and division within that. Truth divides. It's not always a bad thing. But let me tell you, as Christians, what we cannot waver on, what we cannot compromise on, and not everyone is going to agree with us on the right about this, but our job is to pull them over in our direction, not to compromise in their direction, even if people call us divisive for doing so. The foundation must be, for all of our politics, this very basic idea that we were made by a creator in his image, whose power transcends that of the government. And therefore, this creator and this creator alone is the giver and the determinant of our rights, the arbiter of what is right, what is wrong, what is true, what is false. Because without that foundation, what are we doing? Without that foundation, the idea of limited government or the sovereignty of the individual or the legitimacy of borders, none of that makes a whole lot of sense beyond this is just how I feel. But if Genesis 1:1 is correct, that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, that changes everything, including our politics. Because if God is the creator of all of it, then he is the authority over all of it. He alone gets to say what is and what isn't, what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad, what a woman is and what she's not. And the reality of there being this transcendent creator who is also our moral authority, our giver of rights. If we can agree on that, then other things must also be true. There are other things that must be true for the Christian that flow from that reality. One of them that Christians cannot waver on is that all human beings have innate value from the moment of conception, and that does not only mean that they should not be aborted, but they also shouldn't be tested, frozen, and discarded as embryos. If God is creator, and God is in charge, and God is the giver of rights, then how we treat our unborn neighbors, both personally and politically, matters. And it is not something that we can compromise on, because compromising on that wouldn't be compromising to win an election. It would be compromising to lose biblical truth. Number two, it's really a twofer, 2 in 1. Another thing that we cannot compromise on if these things are true. If we just believe the first chapter of the first book of the Bible, Genesis 1, that we are created irreplaceably, inexchangeably male and female. And now most of the right agrees with that. That doesn't even get an applause anymore because it is so obviously true. You even have people like Gavin Newsom acknowledging that men shouldn't be in women's sports. However, for the Christian, it's not just that men can't be women, it is also that husbands can't be wives. Just as men and women are not interchangeable, husbands and wives aren't interchangeable. A mom cannot become a dad, and a dad cannot become a mom, and children need both. For the Christian, when we talk about things like overturning Obergefell, we're not trying to be offensive. We're not trying even to be political. We're not trying to be divisive. We're just trying to be biblical. Charlie and I, in our last face-to-face conversation, we talked about this phenomenon of many pastors and many Christians believing that they're nicer than God. And he said, that has to be the title of your next book. I'm really good at this. And he is, so it probably will be. But there is this feeling among many of us that we are nicer than God. And even though God says one thing about marriage or gender or anything else, we shouldn't say it because that's too mean, as if we need to let the creator of the universe off the hook. But the good news is that God is love, 1 John 4:8. And because he is love, he gets to define it. And he tells us in 1 Corinthians 13 that love, among other things, never rejoices in wrongdoing, so never celebrates sin, but rejoices with the truth. So the most loving thing that we can do, both personally and politically, is agree with God. Because if Jesus is king, then the King of Kings cannot be compartmentalized. We don't get to say, sure, Jesus, you get this part of my life, but my politics and my cultural views and my social views, they're off limits. It's not how it works. It also means if God is creator and he is authority, the protection of borders and the punishment of crime. Because God created borders. They were his idea. He created governments and laws and nations for our good. And he instituted the government, as Romans 13 tells us, to punish the wrongdoer and to reward those who do good. It also means, because I think the foundation of any good future that we have in America is the belief that all people are made in God's image by a God who gives us our rights. It means that Islam is incompatible with Western civilization. And that does not mean hating people. That doesn't mean being rude to people. It means loving people. And it means telling the truth. It means loving our neighbor enough to protect them from the predation of Islam. See, Charlie talked about this red-green alliance, the red Marxists allying with the Islamists, the Muslims, and it seems like such a strange alliance superficially until you realize two very important commonalities in these ideologies. One, a hatred of Christianity, the faith, of course, responsible for the founding of this country. And two, a denial that all people are made with inherent rights, with equal value by a God who loves them. And so, because this red-green alliance is a threat to everything Christians hold dear, it is also a threat to everything that America is. And so, if we love our neighbor, we will speak these truths, knowing that the most loving thing that we can do with our politics, with our personal lives, with our words, is agree with God. And look, we get to look forward to a day where we will not have political conferences anymore because we won't have politics and we won't have elections and we won't have divisions and we won't have disagreements. That day is coming when we truly will be unified by the best news ever, which is the gospel. But because we're not there yet, we have to figure it out enough to defeat evil. We have to be able to unite enough to push back against the darkness, but there can be no true unity without the acknowledgement of truth. Truth of the gospel, and fundamentally, especially for all of us in this room, the truth that we were made by a creator who gives us our rights, who gives us our value. No movement, right or left, that is built on anything other than that will ever survive. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to look up this number. Is that actually a color number? When I was getting started on YouTube and I was trying to pick the color green, I was learning these. Is it called hex? I think they're called hex colors, or the hex number. You plug it in and the computer knows that color is associated with green. Anyway, I think they were like, what was she wearing? Was it plum? What was the color? I'm definitely the wrong guy to ask, but shout out, man. I love that. That was excellent what Allie had to say. And that was her at TPUSA. It was fantastic. Oh, that's the hex code. That's what it's called. You all are hilarious. Thank y'all so much. That was great. I would love to hear Candace ever give a message like that. I would actually pay money to hear Candace give an admonishment like Allie Beth just did. But I think we all know the truth. I know you liked that episode. This is actually a clip from a larger live stream. The link is down in the description, so you can go check it out. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you down there. Grace and peace.